Hello, everyone. Welcome back. You're back here for some reason. Hello. Uh, again, this is going to be season 2, episode 2 of our Star Trek Intelligence, season. Um, as per, usual, if anyone would like to go around and do any promotions of any kind, this is the time to do it.
Hi, I'm Slay. I'm a TTRPG performer. My Twitter is at Sons of Warvan. That's Sons underscore Warvan. If you want me to play with KTRPGs with you, hit me up.
Hi, hello. I'm here this time and alive, back from the dead. I'm Lucas Santana. You can usually find me over on Rule of Lore, which is a true thing that I get to say now that I wouldn't have gotten to say last week because we're back. We just had our 5 year
Right? Yeah.
anniversary of Ramblemancy last night. So we just did that. We're going to be mostly doing Ramblemancy for a while as we work on recording. We focus on recording the back half of Tomorrow is Dead Season 2. And that will be airing TBD, but it will be coming as we've started recording again. But we're just mainly focusing on that for a bit.
Amazing
Uh,
that you've gone through 5 years of talking about almost nothing.
it's true. It's true. And last night we talked about all of the different nothing that we have talked about over the years. So that was a fun time.
So it was
Um,
just a minutia of nothing. Got it.
yeah. Yep. Absolutely.
And you didn't end up in jail at the end. Good for you.
There's still time.
Anyone else?
I'll have a go. Hi there, I'm Silver Sugar, aka Risa, and you can find me most places on the internet as Silver Sugar or X Silver Sugar. The X is silent. Right now I've been doing a lot of digital time-lapsing of my art, but I'm also available as a TTRPG performer, artist, writer. Please hire me.
uh,
That's all I got. I'm low energy tonight.
oh, the creative space mood. Jeez. All right. Yeah. On my end here, I have actually quite a bit to run through. Again, if we hit a 50 follower goal, I will run a lower decks two shot because I'm an insane person. Um, and not because I don't have enough on my plate. But if we hit that
Yeah.
50 follower mark, that is what I will commit to. I don't know when after the 50 follower mark it'll happen, but it will happen. Additionally, if you are watching this or have friends that watch this, but are not using their own or following, I strongly encourage it. It supports that entire goal. On top of that, um, out right now, across several discords right now, is the application for a Candela Obscura 3-shot, The Circle of Briar and Blood. If that is something that you are interested in or know people who are interested in it, send them the link to it. But send them the link if they're ready to experience a very grueling world, because the system is not forgiving. So there's that, so just keep that in mind. And of course, secondary announcement, because we recorded this a while ago, but on Monday, I will have the first episode of a sort of a spacefaring D&D game that we did called Starbright Fantasy. So that will be the episode 1 release on Monday sometime in the evening. And finally, as mentioned last time, Lucas is only with us for a little bit this season, before going back to their multiverse. But that will be we'll figure something out in the interim afterwards. But the other thing that I will note, I don't remember if I said it last session, but the last Saturday of the month we're gonna take a page out of Critical Role's book, and I'm going to force myself to take a break to some degree and just take the last Saturday off. And I think this next Saturday, anyways, some people aren't available anyways, so it just kind of worked out. But I believe that's
Can I plug one more thing?
yes. Go for it.
Follow Lil Legend on Tumblr and get her art.
Yeah, do it.
She's not here today, but I'm plugging for her.
Do it. Their work is so cute.
All right. Well, let us jump into it. Welcome back. So, during the last session, the Madrid field office command team dealt with the aftermath of Commander Jaloryn's attack. With Tate being called in at a particularly inconvenient time, and perhaps a little
Nice.
deep into the personal life. However, gathering the team and dealing with sort of that aftermath, the team continued and began kind of reuniting and trying to piece together what happened. In the meantime, Jaloryn being under and trapped within her own mind once again because she likes to torment the players and me. But eventually they were able to get a sort of workaround that mostly worked. There may be consequences in the future. Maybe. But all that to say, Internal Affairs got involved as well with a particularly not so friendly admiral who is director of Internal Affairs, which is Director Samuel Cade, who is who, if we all remember, I decided the most applicable casting would be Giancarlo Esposito.
Of course.
So definitely not a friendly person. Definitely a person that just radiates malice because he can. But overall, the rest of the Internal Affairs team seems mostly okay. They haven't really interacted very much. Kavai opted to have their sort of interview elsewhere and made all the fish go belly up, screaming underwater. But with all that being said, and then the big thing, two big notes is Dr. Atherton did an inventory check and noticed that there was a power cell missing. About that time the power cell went missing, the Madrid field office was put into forced lockdown, locking everyone who is currently inside, and everyone outside is still outside. But there is a holographic symbol of like a snake with multiple heads, and this is definitely something from Jaloryn's past, as the color kind of drained from her face. But before we jump into that, I think it makes the most sense to figure out, in that time frame, what Lieutenant Alec Caraballo is doing at that time.
Okay, so going back to the incident, as soon as people arrive on scene and I can tell that like Jaloryn is being taken care of, I'm out the door immediately. The whole time I was waiting for people, my mind was just sort of like running through possibilities, going through like potential avenues of investigation to begin and whatever. And as soon as I no longer feel the need to like stay put there, I'm out the door and like immediately trying to be on the trail. Because whoever did this, they were here. They were right here, just meters away from where Alec was sitting, and this still managed to happen, and that cannot be allowed to stand. So Alec is immediately investigating any signs of trace elements of like transporter signals or anything like that. Anything that would have allowed somebody to get in and out quickly.
Okay. I think, let me do a quick look here, but I think,
And more specifically, he's doing it in a way that is not allowing for anybody to potentially stand in his way for doing so, because he knows that when something like this happens, the first thing that's going to happen is protocol, and Alec is not interested in that right now.
Okay. Yeah, we are, like, once you have, medical authorities have been contacted, and that's kind of in that situation, I think it is fair for, because I'm not letting you get away without rolling at least something. I think this is actually going to be, this will be one of your strongest skills. This is going to be an insight security with a difficulty of 3.
And is this for investigating or for dipping out?
This is for investigating.
Okay, cool.
Dipping out, unfortunately, is just one of those things where once, like, more proper, like, central command shows up, they don't seem to give that much of a shit, because why would they?
Fair enough. Okay, well, let's see.
Do we have momentum left over from last week, or did that reset?
New reset.
Session, new scene.
Okay.
Reset.
All right, cool.
I do believe that I have a talent that can solve this problem.
Okay.
And let me go to it, because I want to. It's been a minute since I've looked at this, so I want to make sure that I'm doing it right. I think
You may be getting some help shortly too.
it is. Okay, cool. Yeah, I can spend 1 determination to add 3 points to the group momentum pool. Let's see. I have. Yeah, so basically it's burning a determination for Spirit of Discovery. So I can add 3 momentum to the pool. I'm gonna use it immediately to buy an extra d20.
Yep, sounds good.
And then I'm just gonna go ahead and roll this. I don't think I have a focus that's gonna help me here, so I'm just gonna roll as is.
Yeah, none of this really is gonna apply.
Okay, here we go. And you said it's insight security, right?
Yes, this is insight security.
Okay. Oh boy. Okay, well, I have 1 success. No, hold on. No, 2 successes, just barely.
Okay.
So, yeah.
All right. So, it's not a full but it's not an absolute fail either. With that being said, looking around, you can't tell what exactly has happened around here, whether there's transport signals or anything like that, but you have to determine that the assailant can't get away without assistance. And on top of that, the commander's place of residence should have pretty tight security, so there actually is almost no reason this should be happening.
Okay. And so sorry, to be clear, what did you say what the difficulty was? I forgot.
3.
Okay, cool. I think given that piece of information, like, is there any signs that something has happened to Jaloryn's security system?
Well, this requires you to do something interesting.
Okay.
Jaloryn's security system cannot be monitored without her permission from the external. The only way you could monitor or look at any sort of playbacks is interior. So you were technically there. You were technically, but it is now officially like a crime scene. So you would be more or less breaking and entering again.
Right. I think. Oh God, I think I have to do it. I think I have to. Because right now Alex's thought process is he has no other leads than the fact that like Jaloryn's security system should not have allowed for this to happen, and yet it did. So I think I think I have to. I have to go back.
Okay. Heading back, it is already being, investigated by certain members that you can identify as, like, Starfleet Earth Security, as well as, you guessed it, some internal affairs members, though they appear to be no higher rank than you, like lieutenant or ensign or lieutenant junior grade or enlisted. So it doesn't seem like there's a ton of high command presence, but they definitely have the most authority in this location right now.
Cool. I think pretty quickly Alec is going to determine that sneaking in is not really an option, so he's going to do the opposite and instead just try to, like, blend.
Okay.
I do have a focus in infiltration, if that makes a difference.
It will make a difference. I'm still gonna make you... God, this is so funny. Am I gonna make you Yes.
Do it.
Yeah, I'm gonna make you do... It's not a hard one, but just because of everything's happening so fast, but I am gonna make you roll a presence command roll with a difficulty of 1.
I believe in you, Alec.
I see you. Oh, God. I hate to, like, make a bunch of momentum and then immediately use it, but I'm going to use another one to buy a d20.
Fair enough.
Yeah, then I think... Oh, God, presence command. What's the difficulty?
It's just a difficulty of 1.
Great. And I have a focus in infiltration.
Mm-hmm.
So, Jesus. Okay. So that means, just so that everybody is aware of what I'm trying to roll under here, I'm trying to roll under a 9. Oh, boy. Okay, here we go. Okay, I got 1 success.
That's all you needed.
That's an 8.
Wow, you were really just towing the edge there.
You're telling me. That's the second time that I have rolled 1 under the number I needed.
Yeah, as you kind of are able to... You're not, like... I will say you're not, like, the most convincing, but also... These people aren't much higher rank than you, as I said, so they're not gonna really put too much question into it. Before
Just walk by with a like Mondays, am I right? And then just keep going.
it's Wednesday, but yeah. I don't even think they'd follow up on that. I think they just have too much whiplash to deal with that.
Yep.
But yeah, entering back in, you can find an area in which you can access sort of like home security. Um,
And like to be clear, right now I don't want to like tamper with much because I do respect the fact that this is in fact a crime scene. But what I want to know right now is if it looks like it was tampered with prior to this.
yeah, okay. In terms of like the actual hardware, not really, but you're looking at some of the residual like security hollow screens that are against the wall for the security, and uh, one of them, it's it's subtle enough to where probably most of internal affairs missed it, but you're kind of looking for it, so you are able to determine it. Um, it's not a, it's not that the security systems are playing on loop exactly, because if something plays on loop, that gets detected eventually. What has changed is the field of view of the each of the security like observation cams have changed. So think of it in terms like video games, like POV, like 120 versus like 80. It has been
Right.
reduced quite a bit, like, and that's enough to
And
create blind spots.
and given the system, the fact that I had to come in here to even find that information, would it be reasonable then to assume that somebody would have had to have done the same in order to mess with this in this way? Or could that have been done from somewhere else?
It could have been done from somewhere else, but it would have had to, at the very least, someone would have had to been on site to determine where potential blind spots would be.
Okay. Is there any way that I can? Because I think the thing that I would like to do is I want to know who has been here who could have had the opportunity to do this, but I don't want to stick around any longer than I have to. Is there any way for me to like download that footage?
Yeah, you probably could. Luckily, we're not in, the 21st century, where sticking something on a flash drive can take upwards of an hour if you have too many files. This happens in 5-6 seconds.
Okay.
And
yeah, then
you're
I do
not
that.
going to be able to narrow out like a week. You're probably just going to have to basically grab a folder that
Right.
says, X month and just drag it in there.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm definitely not looking forward to having to comb through all of that, but I'm willing to do it. I think then that on my way, I'm gonna just leave. And on my way out, I'll make sure to like have somebody take note of it. Like just give like a tip to one of the people who like investigating the crime scene, just saying, "Hey, something's up with the security system. I couldn't figure it out, but I can. There's something going on in there. Might want to have somebody check it out."
Okay.
And then I'll leave again.
All right, and where are you heading after that?
Well, presumably, I think I need. Actually, you know what I'm gonna do?
Okay.
At this point, I don't know what's going on. But I know that at some point, especially the presence of internal affairs here at the crime scene, has made it clear that at some point, very soon, probably, things are going to lock up quick. So I'm trying to stay ahead of that. And the first thing, but I also don't want to like if I end up getting like, pulled in for dereliction of duty or whatever the hell they decide to pin on me, I don't want to like take anybody down with me. However, I do need help. So I'm going to contact the most unscrupulous member of the team in my estimation, and I'll just be like, Dr. Atherton, you there?
Oh my god.
How can I help
After
you,
a
Carbine?
moment,
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
yeah, it's like after a moment, it's like you're tapping your badge to get a hold of Dr. Atherton, and then suddenly you become aware, like you've got company.
Yep.
Wait, sorry. Meaning what?
Look, Alec has company.
Okay.
You might want to look down.
Okay. Yeah. I look
And
down.
there's the sitting primly next to you is Aurelia, Jaloryn's pet.
Huh.
the rising the rising caracal.
Yeah.
And she's just looking at you.
I'll just reach down and scoop her up. Say, Doctor, I need a place maybe off of Starfleet's immediate books to lay low for a moment. Got anything like that?
I mean, what amenities do you need?
That's a loaded
Anything
question.
Huh?
That's a loaded question.
Anything that's going to allow me to scrub through security systems.
At that moment, Aurelia just kind of trills at him. It's like as if she wants food.
Mm-hmm. And maybe a place with... I don't know what you eat. Somewhere maybe nearby, some someplace I can get some pet food of some sort.
All right, not going to question it.
I appreciate that. I figured you wouldn't. That's why I'm talking to you.
Joe, in my dealings,
Mm-hmm.
I imagine I have, if not a place or two myself, access to a place or two that is not directly connected to the Atherton name. It may not be high accommodations, but it's definitely a place where you can build a fancy illegal gun or two, so...
Yeah.
The question is, do I know of a place where you have enough, like, software capability?
Yes. It would actually be in the secondary, like, kind of like almost a barracks or like a store. Like, it's for where the, it's where the Madrid intelligence, team number 4, generally hangs out. They don't really stay within the Madrid field office, and intelligence team 4 is the undercover division, which is headed by Lieutenant Commander Yeye Hans, who was a former Maquis arms dealer. So
Interesting. And I have at least I'm confident that they're off planet, and I'm not gonna send Carbio directly into other Madrid field agents.
I mean, undercover, you don't really have that much determination where they are at any point in time. There's times when, and this is one of those times, Jaloryn probably doesn't even know where they are. They were sent off by probably the assistant director or the director of Madrid, so...
Actually, okay, better question that I just realized I might actually sway this. Is this before Internal Affairs shows up or after Internal Affairs shows up?
Probably after.
Okay. Then I don't want to send him to a place that is actually affiliated with Madrid, with Starfleet in any way. I am going to send him to basically a chop shop that Clary has some connection to.
Even in 2385, we can't escape that naked hopper.
I mean, salvage is probably a huge business in this. I mean, business is the wrong word, but you know what I mean. Salvage is probably like a huge thing.
Oh yeah.
Given all the ships and horrible intergalactic wars that are constantly going on, so I figured that's probably where she gets some materials that she doesn't want to have, that she doesn't want to bother putting in requisition forms for.
Yeah, okay.
So she'll shoot a text that way to make sure it's cool before she actually sends Alec over there, but
yeah, the owner doesn't really care that much. He's a gruff, very bored Tellarite man. He doesn't really care that much. But that you will be directed to, Alec, it almost has this really, it's like a speakeasy entrance, but not really. It's like a secret speakeasy that isn't trying very hard. And it is... The smell is immediate. You can smell like old type of ship metal and different parts from various tools that are long since expired or being refurbished. And there are computers to use, and they should be able to do the job, but they are about... These things probably existed during... well before the Dominion War. So they'll do the job, it's just...
Yeah.
Sometimes Clary forgets that not everybody has like one of those neural implants in their brain. That means that they don't actually have to care about a computer's age. They just need the internet connection.
I'll just say thanks, Dr. Atherton, and I won't ask any questions if you don't.
What were we talking about?
Pet food.
Oh yeah, okay. I can send it over through like I don't know, Space Uber Eats.
Great. I've still got her like under my arm, just like if as much as she'll allow it.
It's like she's probably gone...
It's larger than a Maine Coon, so you've got a bit of an armful there.
Oh, absolutely. Listen, I got a fitness 10. It's okay. Yeah.
For the most part, she seems to be allowing it. It's like as far as she cares, as long as she's with you.
Yeah, I'll definitely set her down as soon as I am like sure that we're in a location where we're gonna be for a bit. I'll like send over like the information to Dr. Atherton so that I can focus on like the task at hand.
Before you leave, how these comms are like, are these comms like active recording? Like, how secure are they in terms of like from IA? Like if they're not actively on the comm,
are separate from internal affairs, so they are technically not connected to the same type of network. However, if, say, IA gets permission, any linked conversations, because comm badges still technically act as record-keeping devices.
So they can pull records?
They can, yes.
Okay. Then in that case, how am I going to phrase this? Before you go, I am in the middle of doing an inventory of the weapons that currently came from my... Not warehouse. Warehouse is the wrong word. Armory is also the wrong word. There's a word I'm forgetting, so we're just gonna roll with armory for now, even though it's not right. But basically, yeah, she's trying to officially start an inventory of the weapons that she's had hands on, so that she can at least tell internal affairs that she did her due diligence, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And since Carby was on the scene, his gun is of a particular interest, so she has officially put it out there to him. That's all she cares about. If it helps her tone, she doesn't actually sound like she cares. She just wants to know what gun you're currently using. Phaser, sorry.
Yeah, I just respond. I say, I mean, generally speaking, Type 1 phaser, but I don't have it on me at the moment.
Is it currently in an office somewhere, or is it in your locker?
It would probably be in my locker.
Okay, thank you very much. Have a nice day.
Yep, you too. And I will, after that, I'll remove my comm badge, and I'll make sure to, like, put it in some sort of, like, just... I want it somewhere where I can get to it if like, I receive any kind of hail, but I also want to make sure that it's somewhere that I could contain it and dampen the signal should it be necessary.
Well, luckily you're in a place on Earth in Madrid that is pretty seedy and probably has something like that.
Yeah. I'll ask about it and then just say, and while we're at it, and I'll point to the computers and I'll just say, do you have anything that's not a fossil in here?
Oh, okay. Nothing's good enough for... and she'll just wander off and come back with something that you can definitely identify as illegal.
Mm-hmm.
Because this is probably pulled from a modern, like, Romulan salvaged scout ship, which is a computer. Which, I mean, there's gonna be some weird little coding issues, but nothing you can't get past. It's just gonna be like, you know, adjusting from Windows to Apple or vice versa.
Right. Yeah, I'll take it with. Thank you. And I'm not even going to ask how you got this. And in fact,
that's good. Don't ask.
I found it outside. And I'll just like go sit at the computer.
Come on, Alec, be cool. Don't embarrass me in front of my shady friends.
Look, Alec is doing his best to be cool, but there are some things that you cannot simply leave at the door. Some things are just part of who you are.
You mean a bright purple caracal following you around is not cool?
The caracal is the coolest thing about Alec coming into this store in their eyes.
These people are making it so hard for Tate to cover for you. My God.
But as you begin pulsing through that,
You'll quickly notice that Aurelia hops up and she joins you in watching the video feed, and
God. Like an actual cat.
It takes yeah, but it takes you a second to realize it's like this is not just idle curiosity she's looking to play. It's like it seems like she's genuinely studying the video with you.
Yeah, I'll look down and go, you angling for my job?
She just kind of whistles at him and then just taps for him to start the video again.
The look is borderline insulted and equally mischievous. But as you begin going through the video feeds, there is actually a lot of like people that end up going through Jaloryn's place of residence, particularly over the few weeks that you were stationed near Orion.
Okay.
So there
Yeah.
was a lot of stuff there, and there's there's 2 or 3 individuals that seem to be repeating. And it's kind of that thing where you're seeing their faces, and you're pretty sure you've seen them somewhere, but you can't really remember.
Okay. Yeah, I make notes of all of this stuff, and like I mean taking extensive notes throughout the whole recording, right? Like noting like unidentified male Bajoran like at 3 p.m. this, you know, like, right, I'll just be making those kinds of notes throughout, like delivery driver, etc., etc.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But making special notes about like the people who, like, you say ring sort of familiar.
Yeah, they seem. It's one of those things where, like, where you can pick someone out of a crowd and you know for a certain you've seen this person, you just don't know where you've seen this person.
Yeah, I think this is just kind of like what Alec does for like a while. He does it for a while until it's until it's clear that like he can't get anything else out of it.
Okay. With that being the case, then, seeing as Kavai is actually not locked into Madrid, what is Kavai doing after that whole situation?
Do I have direct orders for right now?
Not presently.
Well then, I am just still coming down from that whole stressful situation. I don't even fully understand why I was being interrogated. This seems like everything is just ridiculous and wrong, and I'm like going on like a huge like paranoid rant. But eventually we're able to get her focus back and more grounded in reality.
Okay.
But it takes a hot minute.
Yeah, once that happens, you will actually, and simultaneously after, again, Alec has been doing this as well, but your, comm badge will, actually the sort of, dark kind of, grayish, background to it, the outlines of it actually flash a kind of deep red orange, like they have a border to them.
Huh.
And that
Have I seen that happen before?
No, but you were probably told what that means, and that means it means the field office is in lockdown. And it is put into a, like, it's kind of put itself into bunker mode, essentially.
I kind of like look down at it as if I was gonna like whatever thought she was in the middle of saying or whatever their therapist was saying, like they don't hear it. They're just like staring at that light for a second going like, huh, that's not good. It registers what that means. And then she just goes, ah, piss! I walked out of the holodeck again! Like, she's not fully on track that this means other people are in trouble too. She hasn't quite shifted into other people have shit going on too. Like, it's a whole catch-up thing. Today seems to be an incredibly bad mental health day. But I think, like, once that realization kicks in of, like, oh shit, all of my friends and coworkers are stuck in there and I'm out here, I think she just sort of, like, gets up and starts, like, leaving the beach. Like, there's no, like, I'm ending this conversation, she's just going. And this is definitely something their poor therapist has seen before.
Kavai
Kavai's an
can't see it,
asshole.
but we as the audience can look back at at this therapist just probably gives what is equivalent to a sigh, and then
I don't get not paid enough for this.
yeah, pretty much. But then shifting focus inside of the Madrid field office, directly after the reveal of this holographic kind of multi-headed snake, Jaloryn, your face kind of going that white color as you have. This is kind of your, one of the skeletons you were never able to resolve.
The moment Tate sees Jaloryn's face, Tate springs into action, giving orders saying, I want to know what systems are compromised. I want to know where our operatives are. I want to know everything. I want communications. I want everything. Starts getting orders, seeing Jaloryn like on the back foot for a minute. Tate immediately takes over.
Okay. As various members kind of go off to do that and are able to collect logistics of what has been compromised, and what they hand you back is not promising. In terms of security, doesn't look like they have the skill to access past a lot, like, certain levels of security, but how deep they've gotten in is incredibly impressive. Despite Jaloryn technically being a commander, she does have access to level 10 security clearance in most cases, being a supervisory agent to this entire office. Thankfully, none of the level 10 were breached. But 9 and lower, all those sort of reports, mission files, any of those things, that which were kept with a tight seal, have essentially become the worst PR nightmare on the face of this planet, as all of it goes basically public.
I want this. All right. I look at Jaloryn, seeing her face, and then I go back and I say, I want everything. I want the system scrubbed. I want everything gone. I want everything locked down. Lock the system down. Just make sure all our operatives are safe. I want to bring in all the field operatives now. Are our field operatives, are they compromised that above level 10 or below level 10?
Thankfully, you do know this for a fact, because the undercover unit, at the very least, had a mission given to them by the assistant director. Their clearance is their mission clearance is at a level 12. So you don't know the details of it, but you know it's at bare minimum level 12. So.
All right, I want all operatives in missions below level 10 contacted and made sure they're okay.
Okay. Tate, I do want to say this so you understand the gravity of what you're about to do. Some of these missions are incredibly, tedious. You were pulling the plug on all of them. Which is the smart move, but just know it will have repercussions later down the line.
Tate sits with that for a moment, and Sorry, give me a sec. I just got lightheaded for a second because I'm a little nervous.
Not to break in, but like from what I understand, if I understood correctly, their covers are eventually going to be blown no matter what. So
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's true.
Like-
So
you are giving them, if nothing else, the
Heads
time
up.
to pack up and get out before somebody looks at the WikiLeaks
all right, yeah.
and sees their name on it.
Yeah, thank you for that. And I pull the switch, and everyone below level 10 is being called.
Okay.
Contacted and told to scrub themselves and get out.
All right. On top of that, you were able to at least one of the ensigns that is working. He kind of pulls you aside very. So just so you know, I can send out that call, but given how our systems, whoever's attacking us from the outside through our systems is going to know we're doing that as well. So I don't know if they're anticipating that.
Can't be helped, unfortunately. Do what you can to secure the lines, but get our people out there.
I'll do what I can. I did a little bit of Starfleet system security. I might be able to, at the very least, put some black lines on some of our stuff.
I look to. How's Jaloryn looking?
She's taking a moment to compose herself. And it's like she's stepped off to one side.
I'll go over to Commander Jaloryn and I'll say, Commander, can you help secure communications to our operatives to get them out? You're a good hacker.
She nods and moves over to help the ensign.
Okay. As you are,
How are the admirals looking?
well,
Because it's my mom and Admiral Cade.
Your mom left.
Oh, okay, she left.
But Admiral Cade is here, and his face is pretty unreadable. But he does kind of give you a look, and he kind of turns over to you. No matter what your opinions of internal affairs is, I think we can safely assume this is an attack on both of us.
I'm willing to make that assumption, yes. And by the way, I don't have opinions on internal affairs. You're part of Starfleet. That's all I need to know.
You are the exception with most, then. But he looks, he's hard, like I said, he's hard to read, but he's probably just, his composure is just something that he's practiced over years, and he is probably underneath all of that, seething that such a slight happened, not only at, like, the Madrid field office, of which he was investigating basically an entirely separate case, but this happened right under, like, his watch, essentially.
He got hit in the ego then.
Yeah.
Okay, take and use that later. Tate doesn't like this guy. You made me interrogate my mom. Of course I'm not gonna like you. Alright. So, when we get communications, I want to be able to contact Kavat. Well, is Dr. Atherton here?
Dr. Atherton is still inside building, though probably more at her, like, R&D area.
Would the lockdown be more hardware or software? Because I know Atherton is hardware.
The lockdown is primarily software. Like, if you can clean out whatever this is, you'll probably be fine overall. The only problem with it is whoever is doing this is very skilled.
And they also triggered the physical defenses of the building.
Okay. We need so does Tate recognize that symbol at all? Is that a file that Tate would know?
No.
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 This is
Okay.
way before your time.
No.
And also,
Yeah,
this is
way-
one of those ones where it's like, Jaloryn
Well,
is
let me
aware of
ask-
it, but it got swept under.
Let me ask this: would Kadan know?
No.
No.
Okay.
This is
No,
one of those
none of your hosts would be aware of this. This is like too deep under.
Okay.
It also went
Not-
way far south, so it got swept under the rug.
Yeah, not even Admiral Cade would be aware of it.
Okay. Once once Jaloryn's done with the communications, Tate's gonna have to ask her about the symbol because clearly she knows what it is.
Jaloryn, how do you want to go about retaking control some of this?
Part of her knee-jerk reaction is the fact of, in some sense, she can't.
Mm-hmm.
It's like she would like to be able to help. She would like to be able to like give them all the information they need to know, but she can't.
Yeah. Okay. So.
And I want to be very clear. This is not a won't. This is a can't. Her hands are tied at the moment.
Mm-hmm. Your only way to like circumnavigate that is just to pretty much add suggestion here and there, and even then, I think the best thing you can hope for is right now, it's not gonna be anything more than a band-aid at this point. But you are able to kind of guide the ensign into sort of, at the very least, low-level details that are maybe on higher mission scaling can be blotted out here and there. At the very least to maybe potentially control some of the narrative. But it's not going to be a lot, and that poses its own risk because that leaves certain things up to speculation, which is equally risky.
And in spots where she noticed certain things here and there, she's is able to kind of guide. It's like it's not necessarily like a genuine security thing, but to kind of help aid with like almost like red herring narratives.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you put a blot here. It's not actually a security thing, but put a blot here to get people to think about going in this direction for their conspiracy theory rather than the other direction.
Instead of having
kind of help control.
Instead of having a single thread, give them like 5.
Yeah. So it's like almost like strategic blotting out. It's like, yes, we're gonna secure as much as we can, but we're also gonna sprinkle throughout red herrings of our own through suggestive blotting.
Mm-hmm. Alright. But yeah, you were able to do that before Tate. You probably eventually get a moment with the commander.
Commander, I saw your reaction to that symbol. Are you able to tell me what that is?
She finishes up with the ensign real quick. Once she's certain they've gotten the hang of the pattern and how it's gonna go look, She nudges Tate off to a more quiet corner.
Yeah, Tate will go with you.
Tate and Jaloryn, you will notice that Admiral Cade will pay attention to it, but he's not going to make any motion to follow.
What can you give me, sir?
You see a rare moment of disquiet. She's clearly distressed about something. But after a second, is like she just looks at you and is just at this moment in time, Tate, nothing.
I think calling Tate by their name kind of adds a little bit of gravity to the situation, because Jaloryn doesn't generally do that.
Mm-hmm.
And then when she says nothing, Tate takes a deep breath and goes, "Will there be a? Do you know if there will be a time where you'll be able to tell me something, or is this an ongoing thing?"
My hands are tied, Tate. It's not that I won't, it's that the authority needed to tell you is above both our heads.
How far above our heads?
4-star Admiral, how far?
How many stars is this Cade?
He's a 2-star.
3?
No, you're right. He's a 3.
Tate will sigh, "Well, we can't get that authorization right now because we don't have communication. Do we have communications yet?"
Again, you have communications. It's just not going to be private, really.
Okay. Well, this is not something we can get over public we want over public communications, I'm assuming. So
No, the less tip-off we've got, the better.
all right, Commander, I'm not going to press you on this, but if the lives of our people get in danger, I'm going to trust that you'll tell me if you can. The lives of our people are in danger, or if your life is in danger.
She gives him a firm nod and like, I understand.
Okay. Tate realizes they haven't heard from Alec in a moment and immediately goes, Tate, Lieutenant Commander Hone to Lieutenant Caraballo.
Wherever Alec, literally wherever he is, whatever he is doing right now, in the middle of it, he just glances his comm badge and just immediately starts rubbing the bridge of his nose, pinching it between two fingers, just and like sincerely considers not responding. And then finally, after probably way too long, then just says, Lieutenant Caraballo, here.
You will also notice, Lieutenant Caraballo, that your comm badge has that same kind of deep red-orange highlight around the background of it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he would have noted that like immediately and then stored that information away for later.
Mm-hmm.
That's a future me problem. But
Aurelia impatiently taps the video feed again, like, come on, pay attention.
yeah, okay, I'm working. 1 second. And then
Base is on lockdown. What have you found so far?
Found? I don't know what you're talking about, Commander.
There's another impatient whistle behind you.
Alec, I'm getting tired of people not telling me what they know. Fucking tell me something.
Am I correct to assume that we have company on our communication here?
Yes. Just you don't have to give me details. Just tell me yes. Just give me a yes or no.
All right, look, I have come into possession of Commander Jaloryn's security feed from home for the last. I sort of like glance, recheck my notes, say, couple of months. It's inconclusive at the moment. There's a few suspicious individuals coming and going. Other than that, I haven't been able to put any real lock on anything.
Okay, that's good work. Thank you for your initiative.
Really? I was thinking I was going to get some sort of formal reprimand.
You'll get that later.
Fantastic.
The reprimand he does get comes out of the cat.
Oh, all right. I have if you'll excuse me, Commander, I have a very important impatient investigation partner here who is having trouble staying in her lane.
There's an indignant trill.
I think there's an indignant trill on both sides of this line.
Oh my god.
Oh, I just got it.
Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
Oh my
That's
god.
my new favorite.
That's a good one. That's good.
Oh
That's
my
good.
god.
You're
It took me about a second too long, and I'm
It
disappointed.
took me 2
in myself.
seconds.
You're welcome, Lucas.
Yeah, Lucas. That's cold.
Thank
Nice
you
goal.
for taking advantage of that setup.
You tee it up, I'll knock it out. Yeah, I just cut the communication and I just like set the combat back down where it was.
The bizarre Kirkle is not staying in her lane. And
Yeah.
because you probably have somewhat gotten up to take that sort of type of communique, just because that might be just instinct of the body, your seat has now been claimed.
You're not going to make this easy on me, are you? And then I immediately look over at, like, you said it was a teller, right?
Yep.
I'll like look over at him and be like, just so that you know, there is a non-zero chance that you're going to have Starfleet security swarming this place at some point in the next week. Not out of my hands. I'm sorry. Not my fault.
I guess I should say I appreciate it, but
Look at it this way. I'm giving you a heads up. If you had given me something that I like hold up the jammer, if you'd given me something from this century, maybe we could have avoided this.
I'm offended.
Yet one more indignant trilling.
Okay, fine. And I just scoop her up, pick her up, sit down, and then set her back on my lap, and then continue looking through the footage.
You also, at this point, you've been with her long enough that you're getting the distinct sense that she's done this before. It's like she's very familiar with what to look for in video feeds, and every so often she's tapping at.
Yet another piece of information Alec is filing away to deal with later, perhaps with a drink.
Because it's like anytime you're noting something, like every so often she'll also tap on the screen to kind of try to get your zero in your attention on something that she's noticed.
Mm-hmm. Alec is definitely feigning annoyance at this, but is also finding it very helpful.
I think at this point, because you're seeing the repetitive patterns of these people, and they keep showing up. Like, it is to the point where it is a little surprising, and you keep coming back, like, I've seen this before. Where have I seen this? And then your mind begins to kind of as you do, you kind of want to trail and figure out where that was from. So I think I am going to let you have a reason and yeah, we'll do reason, security, difficulty 2.
Okay. Let's see. I don't think I have any focuses that'll help me here. Honestly, I'm just gonna roll as is because I think technically we've had a scene change, so that last momentum that I had isn't present anymore.
Yeah, it's not present.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right.
Do you
I'll go ahead.
would investigation be a good focus for this? If you have,
I don't have that one.
Oh, okay.
I have the lead investigator talent, but that doesn't help me with this. That only comes into play after I have succeeded on a roll. So, okay. Well, here we go. Reason security. I got to roll under a 14, and I did. I got one success.
One success. The difficulty was 2.
Okay.
But you do at least remember where you've seen this sort of like where you've seen faces like this. And it was a mission the Hypatia went on that went horrendously wrong. That you kind of left known space.
Fuck.
So to be clear, what I'm seeing is like the same couple of individuals over and over again, right?
Yes, and it's not like, every day, but it's been,
right.
Over the course of like every few days, every couple of weeks, and
so then presumably they are they're masquerading in this way. They're taking the same forms, like the same physical forms, which is, while it doesn't help necessarily with their identity, at the very least, it will help us identify them if we should see them again. So I'm going to immediately pause the recording and grab just get screen grabs of the faces if I can manage it.
Yeah. This Tellurite does at least have something fairly useful in this regard, and that is just like a holographic photo stand that you can just pull out of the computer and then transfer onto that. Again, not from this century, but this time it's actually somewhat useful.
Sure. That being the case, I think I look down at the Caracal and I'm just like, what do you think about all we can get out of this?
Probably.
She nods an affirmative at him.
Right.
She'll even go one further and just slap the power button.
Genuinely, I think Alec is going to immediately wipe any traces of anything that he just did on here. Not for like covering his tracks or anything, but I don't know these people.
That's fair.
I'm just gonna any trace of anything that could be on here, I just wipe it. And then I just I'll take what I've gotten here and I'll just say hand back whatever has been given to me and just say, here you go. Again, sort of got our hands full, so you've got a few days probably to tidy up or whatever you do here.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Well,
and then I just
you'll have to. I mean, I guess I appreciate the heads up, but apologize to Dr. Atherton. I did enjoy some of her visits. Got some neat stuff too, every now and again.
Nope. Stop talking. Don't tell me anything. Stop talking.
Oh.
I don't want to know. I don't want to know. I was never here, and I leave. And then I pop my head back in, and I say, and just whatever you do, just whatever you need to do, please don't blow anything up. Just, I've seen it done as a way of covering up. It just doesn't go as well as you think it's going to. I promise you.
He is currently stowing away a very illegal Tholian device that you can determine is a it doesn't blow up, but it is meant for incineration.
Yeah, I look at it, I look at him, and I say, I was never here, and I just walk out. I just leave. I leave. I'm like,
and the Tellarite can hear this slight trill as the little whistle of like almost as if it's saying thank you.
And to think I sent him to one of my least shady associates.
I can't wait to meet all of your friends.
You're gonna give TNN.
Listen, Atherton makes some pretty interesting friends. Miri's the one that's a little bit more straight-laced in that regard.
I'm a social butterfly. People just like me.
genuinely, I guarantee you, Alec has spent like actual like a non insignificant period of time trying to make sense of this couple, going like, how does she stand it? And he has definitely asked this question to himself many times.
Yeah. But yeah, are you returning to?
Yeah, at this point, I think Alec knows when he's done everything that he can without the resources at hand, so he just is going to go right back.
Okay.
I don't know how able to get in he will be, but you know,
you'll probably meet Kavai there, and you are basically stonewalled because this is a level 10 lockdown. Because by the computer's reckoning, this was initiated basically by the commander. So
yeah, I think I see Kavai standing outside, and I'll be like, let me guess, you're here to throw me a surprise welcome back party.
I kind of like glance over at him, look back up at the building, and just like Mortar themselves. She just like smiles and she says, "Perfect. I'm getting into that vent.
oh my god.
Give me a boost."
I glance up. I'm like, is that? I'm gonna just go skip right past the part where I ask you if you think this is a good idea, and just here.
At which point Aurelia just plops herself down in front of the doors, and what emits from her, neither one of you have any idea how she can make these vocalizations, but it's a very complex series of whistles and trills, and almost immediately the doors pop open.
I like to
And
imagine that like Alec is leaned down, has Kavai's foot like in his like cupped hands, is ready, and she's like there ready to be boosted up. We're both just stopped and staring.
I think we look at the cat, look at each other, look back at the cat, look at the doors, and probably back at each other, and Kavai's just like, you don't actually think that they... I look down at the cat, I'm like, I give her the little, like, two pointed fingers, like, back at their eyes thing. I'm like...
Alex, like,
and she just kind of looks at him and was like, are you coming or not?
Oh, I am
Yeah,
I am definitely dealing with this over a drink later, and I just follow it.
I am now studying this creature like a bug. Like,
The moment all three of them are in the foyer, the doors immediately like swift back shut, and you can hear the audible click of a lock.
Yeah. So here's the thing. Aurelia can let you in. She can't
let you out.
I think that thought occurs to Alec only after we have like gone like in
past
a
the
ways.
threshold.
Yeah, and like Alex is like, future problems, Alec, future problems, and then just keep going.
Oddly enough, Aurelia seems to know where she's going in this building, and she just kind of leads you right to where everybody's gathered in the secure conference area.
Yep, which is, like, it's not as secure anymore, but it is probably still the most secure of any of the other places. And there is a very intimidating, very put, like, out-looking admiral who is clearly very peeved about his situation about being locked in. I see we have, guests. Wonderful.
I definitely, dutifully, I will salute and then,
I'm on my best behavior again.
Jaloryn just looks down at Aurelia. Did you find anything? And she just trills up. Aurelia just trills in response.
I truly do think Alec tries to respond and then realizes you're not talking to him.
However,
Jaloryn nods
Alec does have stuff for it, like...
Like owner, like pet. Okay. Kavai files all of that information just away on their own. Commander, glad to see you're up and about.
The nap was getting a little long.
Earth?
Say again?
Orders, question mark. I will also side-eye our overseers, as it were.
Tate will step forward and say, I'm currently in command right now. Commander Jaloryn is a consultant on this until we find out who tried to kill her.
They actually straighten up a little.
I might have a little bit of a lead on that.
The floor is yours, Alec.
Please do not
I'll-
put me in suspense.
Wouldn't dream
Tate
of it.
will
Admiral.
look at the admiral slightly like, just don't.
I will pull up the screens that I grabbed, and I just sort of like throw them up onto whatever display is nearby. I'll say, I combed through a good month and a half of the security feed from Jaloryn's home after determining that it had been tampered with. In order
I
for
give
that...
you like the most incredulous look of like, how the fuck did you get in there? Like, just so blatant, and then I just sit down and like,
I'll just say, knowing that it was tampered with, it became clear that anybody who could have done something like that could have done it remotely. However, they would have had to have been on site in order to know where the lines of sight needed to be blocked. So I scrubbed through the feed as best I could and found some recurring faces, and I sort of throw them up and I say, and as I was looking through them, something seemed very familiar to me, and at first I wasn't sure, but I kind of caught on eventually. So, Joe, just to be clear, is it the faces themselves that are familiar, or is it something about them that is familiar?
The faces themselves are familiar because you do remember pulling, like, the quotations deceased from that starbase, but it was kind of such a grab tactic that you only, like, saw, each file flicker past.
I said, it occurred to me where I'd seen them before. In the files of the deceased from the starbase that got pulled into the alternate dimension.
Oh,
those
shit.
those are Starfleet personnel who are no longer amongst the living.
So
The beings we encountered took their faces, is what you're saying, Alec.
That's my working theory at the moment. Yeah.
can I get like a closer look at like are we dealing with a face swap or are we dealing with like
Which
a
you are like
shapeshifter? Like do we know that
the bodies are still there, they are still moving, it is just the consciousness is now inside of
zombies?
That's
Oh, that's
somehow worse.
even better. Yeah. Gross.
I want a list of all of the deceased from that starbase, and I want their faces disseminated as quickly as we can after we get this done, so that they won't be able to compromise any more systems.
Is there anything that I should be on the lookout for then? This is news to me.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say, at the very least, those faces. But I think we should go back into the files from that mission and pull out as many, all of the files of deceased personnel on the starbase. For all we know, it could be any of them.
That's why I want all their faces sent out, so that they can't be used to compromise us.
It's the changelings all over again.
Only this time they're hiding in bodies instead of becoming them.
Ugh.
I will admit, when I got here, I had an initial impression of your team, though the impression is changing.
I hope for the better. Anyway.
I think it's prudent that, and I believe everyone else has come to this conclusion, that we need to regain control of your systems as soon as possible, lest we starve in here.
That would be prudent.
There's an indignant trill again from the cat. She hasn't been fed yet, so...
You can take that up with Dr. Atherton.
I'm gonna lean over and whisper to the cat because Kavai is now 100% convinced that this is just a person. Like, it's not an animal, it's not a pet, it's a person. And I'm gonna whisper, yeah, it's okay. We'll eat him first.
Kate is going to pretend they didn't hear that. All right. What are our options?
Well, I imagine the commander has an idea of how to get around this.
Has anyone seen The Thing?
Oh, classic film, yeah?
Yeah. What? It's been a while. What did they do in that?
Die, mostly.
Oh, it was one of those. Ah. Okay. I mean, we know we need to find who is. Can I try to figure out, like, now that we have, like, sort of a short list of people to investigate, like, I don't know how to get, like, to the question that I'm trying to ask. Because Goodbye is smarter than I am. Do we know, like, are we trying to, oh my god, skip me, my brain just, I lost it.
Are you trying
sorry.
to go through the systems, or are you trying to, like, circumvent what?
I want to, like, cross-reference any of these people that we know from, like, how do we rule people out?
Oh, sure. Cross-reference and see who is, like, who would have significance to some position and who wouldn't to others, and okay.
Yeah.
Ooh. Sorry, piggybacking off that, because that made me think of...
Please.
Because in addition to that, because I think that's a very good idea, how many of the people that we brought there also died over there? And do we think, like, because obviously there are people on the starbase, but there were... Do you see what I'm asking? Like,
How many of the
There were also members of-
died?
Yeah.
Yeah, there.
Because we also had casualties over there, and...
Yes. And you had a fairly significant number of casualties for a vessel that has, like, 50
shit.
members.
Did we have any, what do you call it? Near-death experiences? Could someone have been taken over and we not realize it because they're alive still, technically, on the books? That's what I want to know.
Right. So
Nice. Very smart.
there were definitely several. You had casualties for sure. In terms of that whole event slamming into an extra-dimensional space. But in terms of deaths, you only had one. But in terms of, like, triage near death, you had an impressive 27.
Oh.
I want that list.
Okay. Yeah, you were able to pretty easily get that list because the Hypatia crew is separate, technically. They still have intelligence clearance, but they are separate.
Mm-hmm.
And you can definitely get that list. It doesn't help you with your present situation of canceling out this lockdown, but it does open up a whole new terrifying avenue of possibilities.
That's something we'll have to deal with after the immediate problem is solved. We have to undo this lockdown and scrub our systems.
I have a question in that regard. Is it fair to assume that by this point, Alec has sort of been brought up to speed as to what's been going on here?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
I'll look at Tate and I'll just say, so we don't know much about the people responsible for this, but then what do you think the likelihood is that these are unrelated circumstances?
They could be unrelated. It's very possible. Right now, we need to focus on getting out of this base and scrubbing our systems and finding out who compromised our system so much. Then we'll go on to who tried to kill the commander. One step at a time.
Jaloryn at that point would speak up. Under present circumstances, it would be prudent to treat the situations as separate until proven otherwise.
Agreed.
So then, my question to you, Commander, as the Admiral speaks. I imagine you have an idea of how to circumnavigate this lockdown we're facing. Or rather,
I do.
directly. Are you willing to do it?
I'm willing.
Are you
I
able?
just need permission.
From who?
You have my permission then.
It's not yours that I need.
Whose permission do you need?
Admiral Pyre.
Do we know that name?
Kate might know, considering their mother's position.
He's known,
There-
maybe not officially for what Jaloryn knows him for, but he is a fantastic a diplomat when it comes to like civil warring nations and planets. He is able to kind of act as a mediator and help find middle ground. He is fantastic at that.
So if they're a diplomat, my
I mean-
parents probably met at least once.
And in general, it's like they're like within Starfleet and the hierarchy, it's like it's really hard to get up to captain in the first place, but there's loads of captains. The field narrows a lot when you hit the Admiralty. There's a lot of 1 and 2 star admirals. There's plenty of them all over the place. It starts to narrow further when you hit 3 star, but there's not very many 4 star, and there's like only a couple of 5 star. So it's like in general, this is a 4 star admiral. People will have heard of him. Like
Gotcha.
there aren't many. It's hard not to encounter his name somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm sufficiently intimidated.
Well, we could contact him, but
Our
as
communications are not secure right now.
correct. However, seeing as the commander is not willing to budge on the issue otherwise, we might not have a choice.
Is there anything we can do to get communications under control that we have?
So here's the thing. Jaloryn has the ability to do it, but doesn't have the permission to do it.
Gotcha.
You are under
It was
no
like
such
a, what do you call it?
obligation to follow those rules.
And I
too
have a
heavy.
focus in
Gotcha.
subspace communications, so I could theoretically help if I don't have like the area of expertise, like the technical expertise, but I do have the like, at least as far as like the actual systems go.
Yeah. Admiral Cade kind of looks to you, Tate. If you believe this is the best course of action, I won't intercede.
So I'll look to Kavai and Alec, and I'll say, do it.
Yes, sir.
Very casual salute and out the door.
Okay. So, here is the thing. These roles can be done. This huge role can be done in one of 2 ways. It can either be done in a sort of a quicker fashion where you are going to circumnavigate it. However, you can do it in where you're more careful about it or more reckless about it. If you're careful about it, there's less chance of an incident like this happening again, or any type of huge amounts of complications happening. If you're reckless, it kind of, reckless versus, careful. You can do it 2 ways, and that depends on how fast you want this to happen.
My vote is cautious, but
Yeah, I think so too.
I would like to point out that because I gave you a directive, you can use that in place of determination, so you can get your 2 on max successes.
That is correct. So that technically fits the 2 of the 5 die. However, I am going to put this at a difficulty of 4. And I am going to burn 3 points of threat. But Kavai, I think you're gonna be the one primarily rolling here.
Oh shit. Okay, well, I've got a whole slew of things that might be able to help here, including, believe it or not, like, contrary to Kavai's whole, everything, they know how to work when they need to. I do have cautious science available, as well as focuses in linguistics and hacking. If anything there can be of assistance.
Patience will definitely apply, because you're doing this in a careful manner, which means you're not rushing it. You're doing this in a methodical way, so patience could apply here. Yeah, I think that's about the only one that applies here. So, with that being said, you already have the 2 given by Tate.
I think that's my old sheet that you were looking at.
Oh, yes.
By the way.
Yeah, I am looking at the old sheet. My bad.
But I do have a cautious science still.
Yeah, cautious science definitely works here. But yeah, so difficulty 4, burn 3 points of threat.
And then am I assisting?
Yes, you are assisting. The role that is needed here is going to be reason science for Kavai, and we're gonna add the assist here is going to be insight security for Alec.
Okay. And I can use my focus in subspace communications?
Yes, you can.
Okay. Ooh. Nope.
Well, I rolled a 1 and an 11, so that's 3 on my end.
3
Plus the 2 from Tate.
plus the 2, so that makes it and you have 1 momentum to spare. Here's the thing. The subspace focus from Alec definitely helps. But here is the kind of hang up. You were able to get this sort of tunnel and are able to communicate with Admiral Pyre. However, I'm going to do this one thing that is going to... Yeah, continue.
Sorry, I just realized you increased. Did you increase the complication range? Is that what happened?
Yes.
Can I, an assist, can I generate a complication, or is that a thing that is even possible if I'm assisting, or?
I'll allow it.
Oh, okay. Well, I rolled a 19, so just so that you...
Okay.
So,
I'll keep that in mind.
okay. Fuck. Yeah, I just remembered that you'd said that you'd done that, so that's why it came late.
That's exactly what I did last session. Don't worry, buddy.
Womp womp.
But either way, still happens. But here's actually where I guess this fits even better now. Here's where the complication is going to occur. You have this communication open. It is secure. It is only going to stay secure for 3 minutes.
Well, a commander better talk fast.
We patch it over.
Yeah. Admiral Pyre is aboard the USS Opportunity, which is an Obina-class diplomacy vessel. And he looks like he's in the middle of drinking probably a red tea of some kind. He is a human betazoid, and the best applicable person to play him is somewhat older, and so I felt like Ben Kingsley seems like a good
Nice.
choice. Jaloryn, this is a pleasure.
Indeed, Admiral. We have a bit of a situation.
What situation?
I need permission.
Need permission. Commander, I don't need to tell you that permission comes with its own consequences.
I'm
Now,
aware.
I'm willing to remove the red tape, but just know, whatever investigation I staved off will be coming your way.
I know, sir.
Permission granted. Operation Hydrus has been lowered to clearance level 10.
Thank you, sir.
Good luck.
I'm gonna need every bit of it.
The comm will cut out. He's well out of the intelligence game, but he definitely knows, like, the way, like, the sentences are structured, like, the short, the sweet, which means time limit. And he has the time and the subspace, like, trade. Kavai and Kobayo, you're probably watching, like, the timer before it becomes, like, a no longer private, and it stops at, like the call ends at 2 minutes, 55 seconds.
Were you worried?
Almost constantly. I will take this moment to just sort of like look at Kavai and just say, "Are you all right?" I haven't really had a moment to check in.
Now?
Well, considering that things keep happening and they don't seem to be stopping anytime soon.
For the moment, I'm fine. Earlier, not so much. What do these people want from us?
I don't know. And I'm afraid to find out.
This feels unfair. Also, I'm not 100% like sure that due process is processing.
Yeah. I'm having
But
some of
everything
the
I
same-
know about law I know through media, so that's also probably a problem.
Yeah. No, there's definitely something more at work here, that's for sure. Just be on the lookout for the other shoe. It'll drop sometime soon, I'm sure.
Speaking of, Randall,
Oh,
you have been given permission to use whatever force you deem necessary to cancel out this lockdown.
She moves over to a console and Aurelia follows her and takes up position next to her, and it's like her fingers just start flying. And it's like did Kavaya and Alec come back to where they're at?
Yeah,
Say so.
probably.
Mhm.
that's fair.
Yeah, it's like this would be Kavai's first time seeing Jaloryn like truly at work. It's like this is her forte.
Sorry, I got a dog in the
It's like the so it's like this is like the Jaloryn that set up the security system to her home. And it's like it's clear that there's something else underlying the security that set up this office. And every so often, Aurelia's pitching in a sense. She's adding whistles and trills. It's like it takes Alec has been with Aurelia long enough where he's starting to figure out it's like this is not random. There's specific timing to this.
Mhm.
Okay, that's it. Okay. Can I like I need to know this cat's deal. Like yeah. I understand like it's obviously communicating in a way that you understand. I don't understand it yet. I need to. Can I roll
But
something to
Yeah,
figure this
yeah,
out?
I'll let you roll.
Thank you.
This is actually for you with your profession. It's not going to be as hard as a roll. So this is going to be a reason science, and this is going to be a difficulty of 2.
Oh, the urge to spend stuff on a
you
stupid
would be able to
roll.
use your linguistics focus.
Yep.
No, I know. Okay.
We do have a momentum.
I know. I'm not gonna do it. I'm gonna do roll straight. Well, fuck me. Nope. That's a 20 and an 18. Nope. I didn't.
Ooh.
I don't like this cat thing.
It's you're pretty sure if you were not like in such a state, you'd probably be able to figure it out, and you can file that away. And I will tell you this: you made the attempt, you have absorbed some information, regardless of the failed roll. The next time you engage to do so, the difficulty will probably be lower, and in addition
Cool.
to that, there won't be any chance of threat being spent.
Dope.
But
And you're also still highly stressed from earlier.
No, yeah, that totally tracks. I think Kavai just sort of stares at this cat again, and it's just like, there's Kill Bill sirens going off, and she doesn't know why.
But as soon as Jaloryn finishes up, the sealed windows kind of pull back to let in the sunlight, and the kind of alert sounds disappear, and the lockdown ends. But before we continue that, we're going to, because we went a little long past it, but we are going to take our 10 to 15 because people need water and need to hydrate, and so do our audience members. And if you aren't doing that, what are you doing? Please hydrate. But yeah, we will be we'll be right back. Welcome back. Hope you all hydrated, stretched, did anything that people need to do to people. With that, okay, there we go. But upon coming back into this game, the lockdown has officially ended, and the systems have cleared themselves. From what you can ascertain, Commander Jaloryn, there shouldn't be, or at least not for a long while, there shouldn't be the equivalent of a cyber attack like this for quite some time. However, both Commander Jaloryn and Tate, you are aware of the absolute fallout that has happened from this, because there is a lot of missions got kind of thrown, into the public eye. And once it's, made into the public eye, there's no taking it back. It's just out there. And you think data travels fast in the 21st century, imagine in the 24th.
As an aside,
Can-
I imagine Admiral Cade would have also, like much like Kavai, would have been watching Jaloryn.
Could we dump
Um,
like false trails?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's part of what Jaloryn was coaching the ensign in doing.
Oh, nice. Okay, I missed that bit.
Yeah. But it's like I was leaning more, I was mentioning this to highlight for Admiral Cade. It's like this sort of thing is why Jaloryn needs permission. So it's like he's getting a hint at, it's like this is why she stonewalled on like just ending the lockdown.
Because if you're allowed to, basically, his takeaway is going to be generally if you're given an inch, you're going to take a mile. So,
Mhm.
but that permission has been put forth, and you did get that permission a long time ago, but got stopped because you were a lot younger at that time, and overconfidence cost you and the mission. But
it's also and just like this whole situation is also a highlight of like she's a prodigy, and this is why she got tapped for intelligence. It's like that demonstration right there is why she's here.
Mm-hmm. As that concludes, though, down at the research and development portion, for you, Dr. Atherton, as you've kind of gone through cataloging all of your items and making sure things stay, logged in. Let's see here. What thing is probably... Yeah, that one... That one's probably a little alarming to you, Atherton. There is particularly researched technology that you were kind of looking into that hasn't been taken, but you can clearly see clear, like, research notes have been accessed.
Were they read during the lockdown or like shortly pre, like when were they last accessed exactly?
Sometime during the lockdown period.
Can I tell what terminal they were accessed by? Also, which ones? It wasn't. Which ones?
Wormhole technology. But yeah, you can look into that, and you can... Let's see, what is the best role for this? Reason... this is gonna actually be a reason security role with a difficulty of... it's not trying to be that close. Reason security difficulty 1.
Reason security difficulty 1. The duality of man. That is a natural 19 and a natural 2.
Okay, well, you succeeded. And thankfully, no points of threat were spent, so there's no complication. And you only needed the 1 difficulty. So you did succeed. It was not accessed by anything internal here, but it was accessed by something external. And put into theory of what Kavai and Lieutenant Karabayo were theorizing. Some of this information was accessed actually by what is in orbit right now around Earth and stationed near Earth's space dock, which is the USS Hypatia.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so my hidden files got caught in the data breach.
Yes.
Awkward. Okay. Unfortunate. Anyway, I can like bury this in the WikiLeaks.
I don't think it
Like-
would actually be that hard because it was only accessed for a few moments. It doesn't look like this was a huge, Actually, you know what? What is... Let me just double check here. Where is Atherton?
Jaloryn's gonna want to know that it came from the Hypatia.
Reason, insight,
Tate is too.
reason, insight, score... Nope, this makes sense. Okay. All of that from the Hypatia, and you have enough insight to know this, Dr. Atherton. This whole lockdown, as inconvenient as a lot of those missions becoming like public access, this lockdown causing that much stress and turmoil, largely, in the grand scheme of things, once the dust settles, it's not too bad. What it is really good for, though, is it tosses up a lot of focus there, so something that is considered kind of minute in detail gets missed and ignored. So this here was likely a targeted search.
Am I able to... I mean, obviously, the reason this entire thing happened is so that it's harder to determine, like, what it is in all the noise, but, what can I determine in terms of, like, what it could have possibly... What the target could have possibly been?
Well, one...
Are there any other, files that, like, at a glance I can find that are from other hidden databases that wouldn't have been connected to the rest of the Madrid server system, like this wormhole tech research?
Not really. This seems to be the
Because it
only
would be
one.
really weird if that was the only one.
Not off of first glance, but you, like, definitely focusing deeper into it. Let's see, how do I word this? Wormhole ended up being a targeted one, because it kind of got found in the midst of it, and that became a point of interest. But the other things you're able to find that are, let's see,
Sorry, guys. I'm not trying to dig into your information. She's trying to be sensitive, but and anything else that would have been from a hidden database or like something that isn't connected to the rest of Madrid's servers would definitely be something of note to look into. So
yes, the other thing that was looked into, where I have to bring up the other...
But Jaloryn would absolutely want to know that it seems like something's getting targeted, and this is why the doors were thrown open on all those missions.
yeah,
Like,
she's
they
actually
clearly. This is clearly the only way they opted to figure out how to get access to that information.
Okay.
Sorry, Joe, I don't want to interrupt you, but I do want to like make sure that this is
Yep.
she's going to open up one of like her affectations is she takes a lot of like physical like paper notes for sensitive information, which is one of the ways she gets away with hiding so much from Starfleet. So she's going to flip to a new page and start writing out physical notes specifically for Jaloryn.
Okay. the most notable thing is, yes, all these mission things, that is annoying. The wormhole tech was kind of an accidental find that ended up being targeted. However, you are able to determine what was targeted, actually, because it's such a small, like, by all things considered, everything else, this is a small file, but it is the profiling report, like the psychological profiling and behavioralism reports from a Lieutenant Avery Beckett, who is the intelligence team number 2, who specializes in domestic operations. However, what their one of their specialties and part of like the vetting process that Jaloryn went through for like picking each of these team members is their ability. They have written out essentially all of the behaviors and mannerisms and different things about each and every person affiliated with the Madrid field office.
Okay.
And
Okay.
they haven't been taken, but
they were accessed.
They were accessed.
Mm-hmm. Could have done a good old copy and paste, or
yeah, basically.
Yeah. Okay. Could you repeat the officer's name?
Lieutenant Avery Beckett.
Avery Beckett. Thank you.
So just so I'm clear, they accessed Avery Beckett's file?
They accessed
Yes.
Avery Beckett's files of each of the team members' kind of like mental state, physical mannerisms, things like that.
Each of Team 2's or each of
the Madrid
ours?
field office.
Okay.
Everybody in Madrid field office.
Okay, I see now.
Were those the only 2 detached files that were in the breach, or were you don't have to like go over every single one, but were there more involved, or were those the only 2?
Those are the 2 most notable ones. The other ones they're annoying, but they're minor headaches that will
They're like diary entries and shit.
Yeah, they'll be ignored eventually.
Okay.
But those 2 are the biggest ones. Honestly, by comparison to wormhole tech, as annoying as it is, not the most dangerous one.
Which is why I can get away with not putting it on these physical notes to Jaloryn. Haha.
I don't think Jaloryn cares about the wormhole if that was the case, because the other one is way more important.
Yeah, that's exactly why I asked, because if Clarice's was the only, then she would have been forced to mention it, because it is incredibly scary that they were essentially able to pick something off of a detached laptop that wasn't connected to anything.
Mm-hmm.
And presumably, and they're now Clary can mention that they did it for 1, and then 7 others. She could just be vague about the 7 others. She doesn't have to mention that her data was part of that 7 others.
Yeah. You were able to bring that report to
Well, there was one other thing I wanted to do. I'm so sorry.
Yep, continue. Go for it.
Well, the big thing that I wanted to do during the lockdown that I guess she was a little bit too busy to do it during the lockdown, but now in retrospect she kind of wants to track it down, is her big fear during the lockdown was that since she now knows at least some of what was used, she wants to see if the attempted assassin was in the building during the lockdown. Like, she's not sure if this is still an active assassination threat, and she wants to see if there was a this would be a good chance to basically see if she can get any signs that that sort of weaponry was present in the building
Okay.
during the lockdown, if that makes sense. Like, I don't know if there was any sort of like way to like detect like radiation wise, or because you did mention that it was a unique prototype.
Yeah. And just to save time, there really wasn't anything with that signature. You definitely know the power cell is missing, but that can equate to any one of any one of like the 120 some odd members that are affiliated with the Madrid field
Somebody could have
office.
just lost it.
And yeah, I mean, sometimes items just get misplaced or lost or
Clary's. This may be a part of her. This may be one of her values, rearing its ugly head, but she really cannot shake the feeling that this was only the first half of an attempt on Jaloryn's life. So she is going to do her due diligence to keep an eye out for that in whatever way she can, which is mostly just stalking people on the cameras, as is her wont.
okay. Yeah, you can definitely do that. You'll be doing the same thing that Alec was, which is staring at that for hours upon hours.
I have a subroutine dedicated to it. I have turned that shit over to AI 20 years ago. Not actual AI. What we now in the 21st century call AI. You know,
Yeah. I get you.
Yeah.
She has a video search macro.
But like I was saying, getting physical notes, Jaloryn, a little different, but probably appreciate the pragmatism in this moment.
And something she's done before.
It's also, again, probably some of the worst news you could get right now. And I believe, Tate, you'd essentially be privy to it as well, because this is incredibly dangerous information to just be taken.
I need to see exactly what's in
appreciate their
Beckett's note.
dedication. Oh, I've got them all right here. I am incredibly appreciative of their dedication. They even have that weird hand tap that Ensign Alvarez does when they're feeling just tripped over my tongue. When they need to go out and smoke. They got some stuff that you wouldn't think about at first or 50th glance, which is terrifying. Maybe tell them to stick to physical notes in the future.
I'll do that. Absolutely. Because this is enough for an infiltration.
Oh, this is more than enough for an infiltration. This is enough for...
She just kind of looks at you as if, she's looking at you with a slightly raised eyebrows, she's trying to make it clear it was an understatement. She knows what this is.
But Clary is going to delight in saying it anyway. She does feel that this is quite possibly the end of Madrid field office.
We're going to have to recall these people. They've been compromised.
She flips to a particular page and she taps on it. Not just them. And Tate finds themselves looking at their own profile.
Oh no, Tate's aware. Just Tate wasn't going to mention that part. Tate's not concerned about themselves right now. Tate's concerned about their people.
And she's trying to highlight the she's trying to get Tate aware of the fact that it's not just the people out there that's going to be scrutinized. It's them, like their team, like right in the heart.
No, Tate knows. Tate's got it. Tate just nods at you. Like, I get it.
And for you, Jaloryn, this actually does kind of put you on the back foot because your like demand of the Madrid field office being asked for intelligence and your condition being like, I will choose these people, was met with more resistance than support. So the fact that this is like your team is going to do whatever and run however you choose to run it, but probably from this moment on, your team will consistently and constantly be looked under a microscope until deemed, able to handle this.
That's what she was trying to get across to Tate.
Mm-hmm.
It's like they're under a very glaring microscope.
No, Tate understands. Tate gets it. Tate's like, yeah, I know, but we have to focus. But Tate's issue right now is making sure the rest of the field office is safe. Tate's gonna worry about Tate later.
The admiral, who has not left yet, kind of looks to both of you. Well, I suppose, despite the unfortunate circumstance, your assault, Commander Jaloryn, I will consider an ongoing investigation, and I will share any details that I feel is worthy to your attention. As for anything else, I will be returning to my own office, but I can't promise I can do much, but if you need at least slight obstruction, I might be willing to provide that.
That finally quirks a smile out, like half a smile out of Jaloryn.
Don't ask for too much, though.
I'll try to keep it reasonable.
He will leave and round up the rest of his internal affairs crew, which was helping around various areas, but largely was kind of useless because that's not really their forte. But internal affairs will depart.
I have a question, just a point of clarification real quick.
Yes.
So internal affairs presence here was caused by what?
Jaloryn's attack, because it was considered to be something that close is considered to be potentially an insider job. So
Right.
That is their involvement.
Okay.
Good news, it's not an insider job. We are very much under attack.
What's the name of the lieutenant that I was with the other day?
Vivekatal.
I just I make eye contact with her and I just give her a nod when she leaves.
She mouths it. This was an awkward day after.
And Tate will smile and just kind of laugh a little bit.
Jaloryn pretends to see nothing.
Alec does not pretend to not see anything. And it's just kind of like looking like, putting pieces together because I was not here for this, so I'm just looking.
The light bulb is flickering.
Kate's not looking at any of you.
But now that this has all been resolved, I think we can firmly say that the hack has been dealt with. The attack is still considered an ongoing investigation because that wisely, Tate and Jaloryn have decided to treat this as two separate incidents. And until it is proven linked, there's no way to tell. However, with that being the end of everything, how, Kavai, Karabayo, Jaloryn, Atherton, Tate, how are you going through the aftermath of this?
I think Alec has not stopped moving since the incident, and like his immediate instinct is to like go try to help and try to like help kind of pick up in the aftermath. But I think he sort of stops himself and then just goes and like goes to whatever like the like replicator or whatever in any sort of like in rec room or whatever. And I think he's gonna like, and I'm fully aware that it's probably synthahol, but I think Alec doesn't care. Is just gonna just go like go up to the replicator and just old fashioned, and then just have that like.
Here's the wonderful thing about the Madrid field office.
Got a bar.
They do have a bar. It is just one of those ones that is hidden where, like, if internal affairs, no one's gonna spill the beans on that. But they're gone now. You can make yourself a legitimate old fashioned.
I think Alec will absolutely do that. And like the reason that I think Alec doesn't care is because Alec, it's less about the alcohol and it's more about just like the flavor and the like act of like having a drink in his hand. Just like, but if there's the real stuff available, he'll definitely do that too. And I think he will just sort of like, I don't know if anybody else is present at all, but I know that Alec is going to take that moment to like actually stop moving for once and just sort of like not trying to be alone or anything like that, but just like going to the just sort of taking a moment and actually chilling for the first time since anything happened.
I guess in that moment, like there's a lot that's been happening. And given how the past few months have gone for you, there's been so much. Starfleet has shifted so much. Where do you stand presently? Not necessarily like your view on Starfleet, but where do you think you stand given everything that's happened?
With respect to what?
Just how secure Madrid field office was not even 24 hours ago. And then this moment where literally anything that was secure is not. It's out in the open now.
I think Alec is sort of in this moment kind of processing a lot of stuff that has happened recently. The the actions of Starfleet in their last mission, the kind of thing that was asked of them, and how that felt very compromising, not only to Starfleet, but also to the intelligence crew. And then kind of moving that along, kind of connecting that to this incident and feeling that like scrutiny was placed on their team by internal affairs for something that happened to the team, ostensibly for the protection of the team and Starfleet. But when it came down to it, I think Alec is realizing that he had basically no difficulty avoiding that scrutiny. The person who probably should have been prime suspect for this, they didn't even look at him. And I think Alec is sort of going over this and feels a combination of like, I think it's a combination of a sort of growing irritation and like sort of gradually turning into anger and even a little bit insulted. And just sort of feeling like also helpless in a way.
Mm-hmm.
I think Alec's job is to keep this team safe. And not only could he not do that, but also when it came down to it, he wasn't even the part of his job that would have actually kept Jaloryn safe in that moment. He was at the ass end of the galaxy doing God knows what. For what? Because when the damage was done, he wasn't even here.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So you kind of sit with that and potentially contemplate the future. Kavai, given everything that's happened, where is your head at?
Emergency get out of Dodge bags are packed. But also, they've taken to working mostly on trying to tamp out the information that's like leaking by seeding it with a bunch of like bullshit, false information, conspiracy theories, as well as leaking the final season of like whatever the most popular show in the area is, like early.
That's rude.
Yeah, they've probably had it for a while, and we're like saving it for like I think they always have like their bead on like whatever's like the most like watched current thing, so that they can specifically leak stuff in advance if they need to, as like just a distraction, because media is distracting for the general public and it takes away from pressing issues, and hopefully that can buy them a little more time, at least in Kavai's worldview.
Okay.
But they are mostly focused on trying to help best they can. It's the most focused you've seen them in a while. But there is that underlying, like, they're also more flighty than they've been, like, definitely jumping at shadows type things.
Mm-hmm. Alright. I think then, I mean, we kind of know where you sit, but I think we'll reiterate anyways. Dr. Atherton, how are you coping with the aftermath of this?
I mean, she's very offended that some of her research, both public and more critically non-public, has been, I mean, not as public, but you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
Her professional reputation has suffered both from this and from the angry call she got from the chop shop owner earlier today.
Yeah, it wasn't super happy.
But on the other hand, she is thrilled because we are in the frying pan and that is her favorite place to be, so she's gonna go make herself a Long Island iced tea.
Okay. Jaloryn, where are you in your current state post hack and breach?
She probably would have folded up the notes that she was handed and meandered off to her own office. Pretty clear she doesn't really want any company at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like as she's rifling through the notes and she's just kind of settling in, and then gradually she's just taking a walk down memory lane.
Yeah. This was an incident that definitely touched very close to home in that regard. And you've never, like, you definitely recognize that symbol, and you've never caught them since. You've never met them face to face. But this is essentially the second time that you two have faced off, and you don't lose super often, Commander, but against this person, you're 0 for 2 now. So I don't know where that kind of puts you in your head, but I don't know exactly what sort of silent vow you make to yourself, but there is one thing for certain. It might not happen anytime soon, but now that they know where you are, Commander, it is an inevitability that something like this will happen under your watch again. But we're gonna move over to the final portion of the night, given Tate, you have probably had the most stressful 24 hours of your life at this point. Where do you think your head's at this point?
Oh, Tate is well, how to say this? Tate is honestly Tate's pretty calm actually. Tate's partially because it's like it's scary, but Tate's calm partially because someone has to be the calm presence in the thing, and Tate doesn't think it's gonna be Jaloryn for a while, so Tate is sort of in a way making themselves calm, but at the same time they're worried, but they're not like they're not scared exactly. They're not. It's more like someone came after us. Now it's time to see what goes on next. Like, now it's time to counterattack.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's time to get ready for round 2.
Yeah.
And Tate's just this whole incident has shown Tate that they can step up if they need to, and so they're like, "All right, well, come what may, I'll be ready for it."
Yeah. So you're kind of being in this calm presence. Tate, why don't you give me... Yeah, this is going to be a This is for yourself, actually. This is going to be a control and command roll. And I want you to be entirely honest with me here, but I'm going to let you set the difficulty for yourself.
Do you want me to tell you the difficulty?
Yes.
I'm going to set a difficulty at 2.
Okay. I'm going to have you make the control command roll here. Difficulty 2, then.
I got 2 successes, but I rolled a complication.
Okay. You're staying in this calm and kind of hit that sort of meditative calm. And the complication comes from a memory. The flashing red of red alert, the absolute betrayal of computer systems, and the thought in your head, it's not yours, the thought that you know you are caught in a trap, that you have fallen for a very well-crafted trap. The vessel, though you can't seem to remember the name, the view screen aboard the vessel that Kadan was rescuing as you were aboard. The view screen has a symbol of a multi-headed serpent on it before flickering out, and pressure from the whole ship begins to leave. So you kind of come back into that memory, and you don't have as much know as the commander. But this isn't your first time going up against this person either. But we are going to end the episode there. So, thank you everyone for joining us. That got very intense. But I will say, as per usual, for this game, a little bit, we hope we've been a little bit of R&R for you guys, but we will see you in not 2 weeks. See you later.